Oh, hey there. Real quick wise, before we get started, please consider picking up my book. It's now available for sale on Amazon. It is called The Art of Naked Trading. And yeah, I'd appreciate your support. It's everything that we do day in and day out, just in word form. It's about a 200-page book. It's involved. And yeah, I think it could be very helpful, especially if you can't be in our Discord community to listen to us day in and day out. So if you're interested, please consider buying that book. Also, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you would. Thanks. Now let's get into today's videos. What's up, everybody? This is Jimmy with Trading Decoded. It is January 27, 2025, and this is how we traded SPY today. If you're interested in watching the 2 live trades that I took today, you can go ahead and watch this video right here if you want. Otherwise, the one we're about to get into is going to cover trades that not only I took, but several other trades that I didn't take, just because, well, I was done for the day. But we'll go over them just like we did always, and yeah. So let's go ahead and get into the charts and see what we got going on. So as always, we have a call put scenario. You're more than welcome to go watch the other video, which explains why we wanted to take calls if we got above a line and below, or puts if we got below a specific line. We're not going to cover that in this video, well, because you can watch the other video for that if you're interested. But suffice to say, the call scenario worked out way better than what even I thought it would, and that's really all that matters. Now, I got out of my trade here because ADD at that time started to print a little bit of red, and Qs were at a level of nearing a level of resistance. Actually, they just closed, but SPY was at resistance. Qs started to print red, and ADD started to show some red. So I stopped out of my trade. We never stopped putting in higher lows. And, you know, had you stayed in because the trend line kept you in, you could have made a lot more money than I did. And that's okay. But I didn't stay in, and that's all I got to say. Several people did. I did not. Then we, for the third time, which is, I don't jump into put simply because we break an uptrend. I want to be very, very clear on that. By the way, I got to light my beautiful face up. I'm sorry. The problem here is we broke the trend, we broke it here. ADD is on a rocket ship today, and it wasn't until ADD got around 10 o'clock, a little after 10 o'clock, before it started to slow its roll. And by that, I mean come down from the top. Okay, so puts weren't really comfortable to me until after ADD started to roll down, and we were putting in lower highs and lower lows. And we break support, all of which, and this is the second trade that I took, you can watch again in the other video, but I got in because I wanted SPY to be breaking this support, or was it this one on SPY? Yeah, I wanted SPY below this support, but the more important thing, as I always tell everybody, is I wanted Qs below this support. So right here, this support right here, and as soon as we crossed that, I was good to go. I told everybody if we get through that, we should head right down, which is about a 30-cent drop, happened in the same candle. And if we get through that, I was targeting this next support down on the Qs. And as you can see, it made it there to the penny. Now, I tried to be cute. I tried to hang on for a little bit more with a stop loss in place, hoping that we would drop a little bit more. We did not. In fact, it held that support and then bounced in the other direction, where it stopped me out of that trade at 10.20. Ended up being an 11.7% win, although it was worth a little bit more than that when we had momentum on our side and we got down to the low, obviously. First trade, by the way, ended up netting a 19% win for me, more for other people. Then we broke the downtrend. Now, I don't have a white arrow here because I was talking to people about this trade, trying to help them manage when they should consider getting out of those puts if they did take them. As always, when we break the reason that got you into puts, lower highs, trend lines, whatever it is, you got to consider taking yourself out of a trade at that point, if not there when you get a close above the most recent lower high, which was all taking place on the same candle at 1023. But a funny thing happens, because right after 1023, not only do we break the downtrend, which takes puts off the table, we don't take calls until we take out resistances. Well, we got above our high of day resistance on Qs, barely at 1027, but more comfortably at 1028. A lot of people decided to take calls there. We also had ADD break its downtrend at that time. So yeah, for an aggressive entry, you had your opportunity. Now, would I have taken that? Probably not. But just a heads up, look for the signs, wait for the reasons, right? Now I'd ask a question today about how many people had a put bias because, well, overwhelmingly, the market was pretty red. And it was pretty red because, well, China's doing China things. You know, they opened up DeepSeek here, which is their version of ChatGPT or AI, and it's superior to anything we have. And the market doesn't like that because now tech investors are reevaluating how much money they want to dump into a subpar or less superior product to make the story easier to understand. With that said, if you had a put bias today, that's okay. Just wait for the reasons to take your puts. We talked about it. We waited for the reasons here. We waited for the reasons here. And what are the reasons? Wait for the uptrend to end, whenever that may be. Wait for lower highs. Wait for breaks of support. Wait for ADD to be in your favor. If you just waited for those, you got to get into these trades with a bit more comfort. Now, this trade right here, if you took it and you were respecting only the SPY chart, which is not my thing, normally I get in because of the Qs, I stay in because of the Qs. This trade was uncomfortable as we had a pullback here on the Qs, or on SPY rather, that would have taken you above the most recent lower high. So that may have stopped you out. If you're respecting the Qs, they closed below support and pretty much stayed below it the entire time. What we were hoping for was old support to act as resistance. So on the Qs, it did that. Okay. ADD never broke its downtrend, even during this pullback. Okay. Still putting in lower highs. ADD was still trending down. So we did have some people squeeze and take some profits. Some people held through this pullback. Some people stopped out of this pullback. But it really depends on your comfort level at this point. I'm not in this trade, but we found it because we broke support on Qs. You broke support on SPY. ADD was trending down. We're hoping for the move. So you had the opportunity to get in what turned into a very nice trade to the downside. It's still probably moving down here. Yeah. And what were we aiming for? Well, what we really wanted was this support level on the Qs, which happened at 11 o'clock. That's why this circle is here. So if you did get in here and you did hold to where we planned on it, you got in at 1047, you got out at 11 o'clock, and it ended up being a nice trade. Now, we also said below that support level, the next one down on SPY is all the way down here, or the next one down on Qs if you're getting into a new trade. Okay, this is another thing. We had another entry opportunity. If the Qs close below support, their next one down is right down here, just below, or I'm sorry, right here at 513.88. So again, we're looking to take advantage of the space that exists between support levels during a downtrend while ADD is printing red. All of the things are in your favor for that to take place. You get in because we closed below support. You hope the buyers that created that support now turn to sellers. You hope that ADD keeps helping you, and you hope that SPY keeps moving down. It did, and it got right to our spot to the penny. Exit. We have a pullback to resistance shortly thereafter. So if you missed the first one, you missed the second one, you want to know when to get in because FOMO's creeping up or whatever. Wait for a pullback to resistance. If we break resistance or if we hold the resistance or we're at resistance on both charts while ADD's printing red, you take the leap of faith. We pull back to resistance on SPY. We pull back to resistance on Qs. ADD is printing red. And more importantly, it's not going up at the time. And then what happens? We want to stay below resistance on the Qs. We want to stay below resistance on SPY, both of which got tested several times before it ultimately broke down and made it to the next support on the Qs, which was right here. Right here. And where does this come from? This support right here. Just look left, guys. Very strong support here. Held there. Got it here. Closed below it. And then I told everybody I would be expecting Qs to eventually make it to the first blue line, hopefully down to the second or the third one, which it's still trying to get down to. But you don't hold on to that trade for that long. As we have these lines and we start getting down there, just trail your stops, trail your wins. Okay, SPY stayed below resistance too. So there was no reason to get out of this unless you're using mechanical stops and a wick got you out. But for candle close people, you got in at a pullback, you stayed below the resistance, came close to closing above it, and we made it down to the next support, which was right here on SPY, right here on Qs. And yeah, you made it. After that, it was all at 12 o'clock, and I get off the mic at 12 o'clock. So for those of you who are still trading out there, please be careful. It's dangerous out there. Things were expensive this morning. But at the end of the day, if you just waited for the right setups, you got to get paid for it. If you force trades because you missed trades that ended up becoming good ones, trust me, I get it. I feel it. It's uncomfortable to miss them. But then we start doing desperate things. And when we get desperate in our trading, it gets very comfortable, and somehow we become willing to blow up our trading accounts to chase or undo some mistakes we may have made leading up to that point. But at the end of the day, we're done. And I hope you found some valuable information in this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to join our Discord community, well, we'd love to have you. There is a link down below. And yeah, go buy my book. It's out now on Amazon called The Art of Naked Trading. And when you do get it, if you get it, please be kind and go leave an Amazon review. If you would, I'd appreciate it. Until tomorrow, I love you guys. See you.